Hello and welcome to the Odious Soul. My name is Shannon and today I'm going to be showing you my first Georgia garden tour. Last year, in the summer of 2023, I sold my house in Maryland, which I had done the previous garden tours on, and bought a house in Georgia. We're about 30 minutes west of Atlanta and I am loving it here. And the house came with a lot of great things, but it had a lot of opportunities for some plants. We have a 1.5 acre lot, but about 2/3 of that is wooded. So I had to be creative on how I was going to grow veggies here. And that is what's kind of fun about this year so far. Trying to grow food in my front yard, in my side yard, and in my backyard, while also putting in perennials of different flowers that I absolutely love. So far I've planted hydrangeas. The house came with a lot of basic roses, so I'm not going to add any of that right now, but added blueberry bushes, apple trees, a fig, a pomegranate, and then of course planting all the asparagus for the future. Because with perennials, we know that it takes a few years for them to be established. You know, the first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. So my priority has been getting the perennials in. So let's go take you on a tour and show you what I got going so far. So this is actually our front yard. This is our driveway. Then this is what I call the tree island. And this is Rose Island. Rose Island, we have kind of used this for food growing. So we have 3 blueberry bushes. The one on the very end right down here is not doing very well. I'll probably have to replace it. The one here in the center is actually like a pink lemonade one. Which is still in the early years. And then this one here is one that I picked up from Lowe's. It is a Brightwell blueberry, and blueberries have actually done really well so far. So delicious. But on the edge here, I've actually planted 75 strawberry plants, 3 different varieties. I got them from Burpee. And then you can see I put this stone border. Now it looks really bad right now because I haven't really had time, but I dug a trench here so that way I can hoe and keep this maintained and then be able to mow up to this point. So I should be able to keep it looking like this most of the season. You'll see here I do have some diatomaceous earth sprinkled around, just because slugs have been our hardest pest so far. They're little tiny itty bitty baby ones. And that has been like the major combatant. Here in the middle, I do have some okra, but if we get closer, you can see the slugs have had a real field day with these things too. So I did plant some more seeds here. You can actually see a couple of them trying to come up. But looks like slugs have already gotten to those. So I'll probably have to sprinkle some diatomaceous earth there. And there's one of the hydrangeas that I planted this year. Oh, look. Some of these pink lemonade blueberries already. They are so good. You'll also notice that I have squash growing in my front yard. Now, if you've ever grown squash, you know that they are very bug heavy. So I thought I would try growing squash in various areas of my yard and maybe rotate from year to year. So we're trying this here. Huge foliage. We've already been able to harvest one of these butter stick squash from Burpee. Got some more growing over here. So very excited to see how these turn out. Now we're gonna go over here and check this out. All right, and here is the garden on the side of the house. As you can see, we have a fig here and a pomegranate here. And then everything else has just been slowly but surely. I started putting in the Birdies raised beds and then realized I needed more bed space. So this is all full of hot peppers. I created this little one for the cucumbers. And as you'll see over here, this entire wall is tomatoes. And I'm doing a vertical climb method. I'm really hoping this doesn't get too heavy and rip out the side of my porch. But it is June 5th, and look at this. We already have so many tomatoes in the works. It is so exciting. Just 6 weeks ago, we put these in the ground in mid-April, and hopefully we will be able to see these babies turn red soon. There are 16 plants, I believe, on the side of this house, all different varieties. I think the only two that might be the same here are red cherry tomatoes. Down here, I actually just started an herb bed the other day. There were a bunch of like the purple flags in this area, so I had to get in there with a breaker bar, really dig out. So I just planted seed. There were some rosemaries that I've had there for about a month now. I started those from seeds over winter. So far they're hanging on and doing pretty well. So hopefully the rest of these herbs will come in. But here's a different angle of the garden here. So in the first bed down here, this is all lettuces. We have kale, 3 different varieties of kale. We had endive, you can see it's going to seed. This is the burpee bib that is also going to seed. And then this is arugula, one of my favorites. And I love when arugula goes to seed. It is so beautiful. The second bed here, we have Swiss chard. And then of course, this is a biannual. So this won't have to worry about it going to seed until next year. And then here we have mustard, and as you can see, that's gone to seed. But next, I actually just pulled some stuff out here, and I just planted some tomatillo seeds. I know it's super late, but we're gonna see what it does. Here we have a couple things of celery started, still early on. These are, dragon tongue purple potted bush beans. And then we have some more rosemary, which is crazy because I've never been able to grow rosemary, especially from seed, and I've been really lucky. So I'm really hoping these stay and do well, because Lord knows I use a lot of rosemary in cooking. The third bed, here is another one of those squashes. This is a limelight, and it has not done well at all. I don't know if it's just, I started the seed indoor, which may be part of the problem. We have had some pest problems. We come out here and kill these squash beetles that look like ladybugs, but they're not. So I don't know if it's, I've tried to help the plants fertilize, pollinate, and still haven't been able to grow a fruit off of it yet. Over here we have some eggplants, and they have flowered, and hopefully some of these start actually growing eggplant soon. And then here are some sweet peppers. I believe all these are the California Wonders. No flowers, no one's actually starting on here yet. Here, the fourth bed, we do have more peppers starting. These are all sweet varieties as well. And these are doing pretty well. You can see sweet banana. We got some started. Let's see here, these are the cherry stuffers. So all kinds of different ones here that are doing pretty well. And before anybody says anything, all my beds have the same dirt. I used like the Black Cow fertilizer. I used soil from it's like 3 cubed or something cubed. It's like it comes in a big yellow burlap bag. So it's has all the same material. So it shouldn't be a soil issue, which is why these are doing better than those yet. So just got to keep an eye on it. I have added different amendments as needed, but this big mess is turnips, beets. I've been pulling them out as they get ready. These may be just not gonna get to full status, so they might just get ripped out soon. We'll see. We got some, I think these are different radishes and beets hiding in here, and these are carrots. You know, hopefully they can come out soon. Then in here on this tower, I have Mexican sour gherkins, because no garden is complete without things that you can easily munch on while working in it. The last birdie's bed is where I put all of the asparagus at, and you can see the asparagus ferns. These will be here making sure everything is pretty until the end of the year. When the stuff gets brown, we'll cut them back. And then in here, we actually have radishes growing. So radishes are super fast, super easy. And then with the extra space in this bed, thought it was a smart thing to do. All right, and as I said, here are some cucumber starts. They've taken a while to get this far. They started from seed. We should see them take off soon, because they're finally starting to show growth, and they got as high as that little makeshift trellis that I created. So fingers crossed. I only had 4 varieties out of the 5 that I planted actually start. So my biggest problem is I have a lot of old seed. So it's kind of like trial or error what's actually growing, what isn't. So, seed from like 2020, 2021. I'm trying to use all that up before I use my new seeds that actually just came in the mail today. So here though, we have, these are big guys. They're supposed to be a hot pepper from Burpee. So far they haven't been hot though. You can see some big guys starting down here. And then we have a bunch of jalapenos, some peppercones. We have this, I love Tabasco plants. They look so cute. Some chili peppers. So just a variety, a whole bed of hot peppers. Over here, I do have a grape that started, but to use the space wisely, I've also used this for beans this year. I didn't really have any other place. So the beans have finally taken off. They got some height. You can see the flowers, like should be starting soon. And then of course, a cute little swing. Here we also have another grape. So aphids have been giving me a hard time on the ends here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I've been trying to take care of them. They actually don't look too bad today. So we'll keep working and trying to protect that. And then this monstrous loveliness is Brad's Atomic. Aren't they just gorgeous? And then as they ripen with the reds, so Brad's Atomic, they're like a cherry size, maybe like a saladette size, but they are just absolutely gorgeous. And these plants are doing so well. Just love it so much. So that is pretty much what I have going on over here so far at the beginning of June. So a lot of things are, of course, coming to seed and seasoning out, where a lot of stuff is just at the beginning of their season. So just how much this space has transformed, just in the past 6 months. Like there was nothing here, and now it is truly a food garden. And can't wait to see what else I get to do with it. But speaking of those flags, so I still have to move a lot of these. This is half of what was in there. It was so bad. And I'm gonna transplant that someplace else. All right, so while we go for a walk, I really wanted to plant pumpkins and gourds because, Halloween time comes, like to decorate with them, and they can be pricey at farms and farmer markets, definitely at the grocery store. But I don't have a lot of space. So now we're going into the wooded area, which is just so lovely. Like you can see, I planted hostas here. There's hostas down there. I put in some steps. Over here, the neighbors have a pond and a fountain. Just love sitting out here. But anyway, in between these trees, these ones right here, is what I call Leaf Island. Just an area just where leaves tend to collect. And I was like, you know what? Let me try growing the pumpkins and gourds here. So I have no idea how it's going to turn out. So far, everything is really leggy, so I don't have high hopes. But most of this was old seed. Most of this was seed from other pumpkins and stuff that I had that I, you take pumpkin seeds out, right? So saved a lot of them. So we'll see what happens, but here, take a look. So like all of this here is all seeds that I put down all the way up here and over there. Like they're everywhere. And you can see just how leggy they are because they're looking for the sunlight. But some of them are, I think some of them will probably pull through. Some of these are very tiny gourd varieties. So hopefully maybe at least they hold up. But even if I only get like one or two, it's better than none, right? All right, and if we come from Leaf Islands, we're gonna go over here. Whoops, to those poles. So again, having a new house, getting it set up, wanted a bunch of edibles. Not those kind of edibles, but food. I wanted to grow my own food. And I needed a place to grow like berry bushes. So I chose down here. It's kind of protected, kind of shady, but in the winter time, this actually gets a lot of sun. And I don't know, it's like on the edge of our property. So, because like right here, like you can see where the fence ends, that's the end of their property. So I was like, you know what, let me plant berry bushes here. So I got raspberry, loganberry, blackberry, and we'll see how they do. They're still very tiny. I doubt I'll get any fruit off of them this year, but there's always next year. Oh, and back in the woods, back in here, there are a bunch of blackberry brambles, like the wild ones. So those actually have beautiful berries on them. So excited to see that. And then here, there is nothing truly edible growing in here yet. But what I want to do, like over here, I have planted a bunch of perennials, like peony, hydrangea, a bunch of shade perennials because this doesn't get a ton of sun. Hostas, so that's going to be like a little woodland path through there. But then I want to get chickens again. Obviously not that many because we're in a neighborhood, but probably in this area right here, build a chicken coop and have, 4 or 5 little hens and, kind of do that. And that's my goal for the winter time, to build a coop, fencing, and kind of utilize this space right in here. So that's a quick little garden tour. Oh, I'm sure you saw it in the background, but I did build a 3-bin compost system. Gonna sit down here for a second. So that's my starting place. I love this property. It brings me so much joy. If you look up here on the thing, you can see that I have different herbs and aloe plants and an agave. I actually have like a cherry tomato with some peppers in a big container up there too. But yeah, I absolutely love this property. It just brings me so much joy. And then gardening, it's like completely clean slate. My old house, I did so much work for the gardens, but it was a lot of work. And it was after living there for 20 years, starting to do that stuff. So I'm glad I did it there. Hopefully the family that has the house, is keeping up on the gardens, or at least the veggie gardens, utilizing them in some way or another. Then took all the information and knowledge, failures from that, and I'm using it here now to make sure that things are going better. So what I'm trying to do is, how do I make things easy, less maintenance, easier to maintain, I hate weeding. I hate using weed killer. There are some areas that you just can't, it's easier to use the weed killer. So it's not a completely organic property, but I'm very mindful when I use it. It's more of like spot. Like I am highly allergic to poison ivy, highly allergic. So this spring, a lot of poison decided to pop up. So, you know, going through and, you know, like trying to figure out, do I spray this? Do I just pull it? You know, what do I do with this? How do I do this? So it's been a lot of trial and error. Here also in the South, you have really big issues with termites and cockroaches. Oh, excuse me, palmetto bugs. So we do use a regular pesticide right around the perimeter of the house. But again, when we're spraying that, being mindful because I love my honeybees. So it's been a lot of research, a lot of care and consideration. When I do things like, do I have to use this chemical? What other options do I have? Like I said, slugs, huge pain for the strawberries and for several of the other different plants too. Like it's just crazy. Like, and the slugs are just like itty bitty baby ones. They're not even that big, but they've been aggressive. So obviously, like I have a problem with them on my edibles. So how do I control them without killing us or, you know, hurting us with what I put down on top of them? So just all kinds of new things. And I'm excited because, you know, it is a new place. There are going to be new bugs. And how do I deal with them? And, you know, so many new birds. Sorry, a couple birds just flew on the bird feeder. I saw a red-headed woodpecker today. I don't actually know what kind it was. I just know it was a woodpecker. It was a good sized one too. I don't think I'd ever seen one that big. And there were 3 hawks, the red-headed woodpecker and this hawk. And they were all kind of like hanging out together. And I mean, I was like super close to them in the woods and just like looking at it in awe, you know. It just, the nature here has been precious, you know, it's truly precious. But again, so follow along on my journey. I don't know how often I'll do the garden tours, maybe at least once a year, or as failures happen or as cool things develop, I will show you guys. But I did get a package from Burpee. They had a 50% off seed sale. So I stocked up on some of the tried and true basics, like my essential go-tos, because there was a lot of stuff that I was running out of. And like I said, I had a lot of old seed. Obviously the tomatoes had no problem germinating this year. My tomatillos did not want to germinate. A lot of my herbs, I've had problems germinating the herbs this year. None of my sweet peppers germinated. I think I had like the sweet cherry stuffers did. All the hot peppers germinated with no problems, but the sweet ones I've really struggled. I think I ended up having to put like the California Wonder in wet paper towels and baggies on heat pads for them to germinate, and then carefully cut them out of the paper towel and put it in dirt, and I was able to get enough California Wonders to germinate. But I did find this awesome little nursery here. It's like Little Creek Farm Nursery. I'm gonna have to do a video of that place one day because oh my gosh, it is so amazing. Like it is so wonderful. I could get lost there, but that'll be a story for another day. I gotta get back to work. So thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to share my garden journey in Georgia. If I come up with any weird pests or problems, nutrient issues, because there's a lot of red clay around here, I will let you know, and you guys can follow along, and we'll go from there. So, all right, lunch break over, back to work. Thank you, and happy growing.